Hello everyone and welcome to the another lecture of Internet of Things. Today I'm going to talk about VSCode IDE and REPL interactive mode. So let's start. Let me add here. Yes. Okay. Internet of Things Part 2. Let's start by introducing VSCode IDE. VSCode IDE, I prepared it in 4 sections. Part A or section A in IDE is toolbar, and this is the toolbar. It offers an icon-based quick access system to commonly used program functions like saving, loading, and running programs. The section B is called a script area, and a script area is where your Python programs are written. It is split into a main area for your program and a small side margin for showing the line numbers. This area is called a script mode. The other part is Python shell. The Python shell allows you to type individual instruction which are run as soon as you press the enter key, and also provides information about running programs, and this is also known as REPL. That is an abbreviation of read, evaluate, print, and loop. This part is also called interactive mode. The next part is interpreter, and you can find it when you go to the setting, the gear wheel, and when you open it, you can see the command palette, and you can use Python command. That the command is select interpreter command, and that lets you select or change the current Python interpreter. The version Python used to run your programs, and that the one that is better to use is the recommended one that is in the default option. So let's see these parts in these slides. This is part A, the toolbar, and this is part B, script area, and this is part C, that is REPL, and this is part D, that you can choose your interpreter. Here you have other options. You can see here they are extensions. You can choose in this extension part with this icon, and this is the setting that you can go and do the setting for your program, and this is a run button. But I will talk about this run button because you should be careful about when you choose to run, you should be careful about that you are running a Python file, or that includes the MacroPython programming. So let's see the first MacroPython program, that is Hello World. This is the really simple programming in MacroPython, and it says that print hello world. And you will see when you run it, you will see the output here. But you should keep in mind that when you are using this button, it's totally nonsense, because this running, and when it says that run Python file, you shouldn't do that, because it's true that both MacroPython and Python have the same syntax for print command, but this is MacroPython, so you cannot run it. You can run this file, but what you see here is not the one that you expect. I mean, you should run it as a MacroPython on your device. So if you want to understand it better, I added import machine that is specifically for MicroPython syntax. Since it is specifically MicroPython syntax, if you go and run this with this run button, then you will get error like this, and it shows that you shouldn't run this. So it's we will learn how we should run our MicroPython on the PicoW. And REPL, the MicroPython Interactive Interpreter Mode. This section covers some characteristics of the MicroPython Interactive Interpreter Mode. A commonly used term for this is REPL. As I mentioned, it's read, eval, print loop, which will be used to refer to this interactive prompt. And it has following characteristics like auto-indent, auto-completion, interrupting a running program, paste mode, and the special variable underscore that I'm going to talk about one by one. Auto-indent. When typing Python statements which end in a colon, for example, if, for, while, then the prompt will change to 3 dots, as you can see here. And the cursor will be indented by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It will be placed here. When you press enter, the next line will continue at the same level of indentation for regular statements, or an additional level of indentation where appropriate. For example, here, when we wrote if I greater than 3 colon, then the cursor is here, exactly the same indentation of this if. Or if you want to write another code, for example, here we want to break and come out from the if, then the indentation will be the same as the if here. So you should be careful that every colon it will get 4 indentation, 4 space, and it will write the next command in this indentation space. So if you want to take the same indentation, then you should, if your cursor is all the way back at the beginning, pressing enter will then execute the code that you've entered, and then the following shows what you see after entering a for statement. The underscore shows where the cursor winds up. And if you then enter an if statement, an additional level of indentation will be provided. So now enter break followed by return and press backspace. And then finally type print, press return and press backspace and press return again. Hopefully you got it, what is happening here. It's very simple and it's easy to use. So auto-indent won't be applied if the previous 2 lines were all spaces. This means that you can finish entering a compound statement by pressing enter twice, and then a third press will finish and execute. So the next feature is auto-completion. The auto-completion is while typing a command at the REPL, if the line type so far corresponds to the beginning of the name of something, then pressing tab will show possible things that could be entered, like here. For example, we say import machine, and then when we put machine.pin, then dot, after this dot we will get these options that we can understand that, okay, machine.pin dot value, for example, we have the machine.pin dot alt we have. So for if you for example first import the machine module by entering import machine and then pressing enter, then type M and press tab, and it should expand to machine. It means that if you just only put M letter and then tab, it will complete for you. And then enter a dot and then press tab again, and you should see something like the C that you can see in this photo. And the word will be expanded as much as possible until multiple possibilities exist. For example, type machine.pin.alt and press tab, and it will expand to machine.pin.alt underline PIO1, for example, here. Machine.pin.alt and then alt underline PIO1. And may other options start with alt that it can, you can see here, it will show you. Okay, let's go to the next slide. And oh, sorry, I don't know what does, why it doesn't work. Okay, here you can interrupt a running program by pressing Ctrl C, and this will raise a keyboard interrupt which will bring you back to the REPL, and providing your program doesn't intercept the keyboard interrupt exception. You can see after printing from I to range 100,000, in the middle when it is 6,488, I just put the Ctrl C and it is interrupted and go back to the REPL, as you can see here. Another feature is paste mode, Ctrl E. If you want to paste some code into your terminal window, the auto-indent feature will mess things up. For example, if you had the following Python code that you can see in this photo, like this one, and you try to paste this into the normal REPL, then you will see something like this. And since these two print are at the same indentation space, when you put it in the REPL, you can see that this print will be nested. But this is not the thing that we want. This our program should be like this, but when we paste it becomes nested. So the solution is that you should use Ctrl E, then you will enter in the paste mode, and paste mode is shown with this icon, and it's a strict equality. We call this REPL icon chevron, and we call this a strict equal. So paste mode allows blank lines to be pasted. The pasted text is compiled as if it were a line, as you can see here. So in the paste mode, using Ctrl E, the two prints, they are at the same level as our program that we wrote, and we were expecting that. So from REPL to strict equals, you should use Ctrl E, and from strict equals to REPL, you should use Ctrl D. Let's talk about the special variable underscore. When you use REPL, you may perform computation and see the results. MicroPython stores the results of the previous a statement in the variable underscore, like here. So you can use the underscore to save the result in a variable. For example, we write in the rep 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, and the result will be 15. So if I want to access this 15 later, I can use it x equal underscore. And if I want to know what is inside the x, I can show it, and I can see that, okay, number 15 is stored in the x. So I can store the result in this variable underscore. That it was for today, lecture uh, 4, topic 2. Thanks for listening to this topic, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any feedback or question, please write me on a Slack on our group, and you are always welcome to my office in Kalmar and the IoT lab. Bye.